Whether you're a vegan or a confirmed meat eater, join me today. I'm making Middle Eastern food on SoFlo Taste. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Welcome to SoFlo Taste. Middle Eastern cuisine is becoming well known in this country, maybe because more people are bringing recipes from their homeland, or because of its health benefits, or maybe just because it tastes delicious. So today I thought it would be fun to share some Middle Eastern recipes with you. So let's get cooking. First and foremost, gotta teach you hummus, right? When I went to Michael Solomonov's restaurant, I tasted the creamiest, fluffiest hummus I've ever had, but he has a secret. And the secret is, you put a little bit of chickpea and water together, and this is the secret ingredient. It's baking soda. So you put a little bit of baking soda in the water and the chickpea, and you just let it sit out on a counter overnight in your kitchen. Next day, you drain it, and you put it in a pot with water and more baking soda. The baking soda breaks down the chickpea and it removes a lot of its peel in the cooking process. But he also talks about cooking the heck out of that chickpea until basically it just starts breaking down. So this is about 1 hour and 20 minutes that we've allowed these to cook, as he says. And when I looked at it, I thought something was wrong because it really is just broken down to nothing. Take a look. He says to strain it. And it basically just looks like a pot of mess. So check it out. This is not very attractive, but it turns out to be incredibly delicious. Most of the chickpeas have peeled and kind of shed their peelings. So let this basically sit and drain. I'm actually just gonna put it right on top of here for now. All right, moving over to the blender. This is how you get started. You add fresh squeezed lemon juice, some salt, and grate garlic as much as you like into your blender. So I use a microplane because it sure makes grating a heck of a lot easier. I think I'm gonna do about 3 garlic cloves for this recipe. I don't like when hummus is too overly garlic. We're gonna go ahead and run this and let it get smooth. So next, we're gonna go ahead and add tahini. Tahini is sesame paste, and you can find it at pretty much any market has tahini now. So go ahead and pour that into the blender. And as far as I'm concerned, the more tahini, the better in your hummus. We're also gonna add a little flavoring here. I'm gonna add some cumin. And let that run until it's really smooth. So this is what happens, and I'm glad it happens so you can see it. The blender gets stuck when you add tahini in it because tahini is so thick, it stops the blender. Have a little ice water on hand always when you're making either tahini sauce or hummus. Add some water in and let it run. Shake up your blender a little bit using a rubber spatula. Make sure the water gets down on the bottom so that you can move your blender a little bit better. There we go. So that's what you want. It kept on moving, but it's a nice thick paste. Okay, once that's good and frothy, and can I show you the inside of there? It's nice and creamy looking. Great. Now we're gonna add our chickpea. You want the chickpeas to be warm when you add it into this mix. Now, if you're using canned chickpeas, this is all good, okay? Just drain your chickpeas really well, rinse them, and try to remove a little bit of the peels. It's kind of a pain, but get your kids to do it. They can work for you. If they want a great return on the hummus investment, make them work for it. All right. Go ahead and add those overcooked chickpeas in there. We're definitely going to have to add a little bit of ice water again. And for sure the rest of this salt and possibly more, but I'll let you know in a minute. And let's run this baby. So this is a crucial moment because this is the time your blender will quit on you easily because it will overheat. So always have a rubber spatula near you and always keep working it because every time you stop it and rework it will give you more of a chance of your blender to keep working because this happens to me often. By the way, if your blender does quit on you, throw the bottom part, the important part, into a freezer for a few minutes. It'll come right back. So far it tastes good. All right, I'm gonna keep working the hummus. Come right back though, I have so much more for you to learn and for me to make. Falafels are coming, so don't go away. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. Joining me now is Anne-Marie Derry, a Junior Achievement Volunteer. So what do you do here, Anne-Marie?
I supervise the children in their different activities, depending on which business they're in. There's BizTown and there's Finance Park. It's a great program.
Once coming here, it's just such a world I never knew about.
It's fantastic.
It's incredible, and the children do so well, don't they?
And they learn so much.
So much, yeah. So, Middle Eastern food, yes or no?
Yes.
You like it?
Love it.
Okay. So this is how my hummus turned out. I think you were here when I was making it.
Very nice.
It's truly a labor of love. It's super fluffy. You want to try it?
Sure, thank
All
you.
right, before you do, I want to talk about the toppings that you can put on hummus. When you're making Middle Eastern food, you always have to have good extra virgin oil around. And it has to be a really nice quality because it's a finisher when you're making Middle Eastern food. So I brought 2 of my favorite oils. Can I put a little oil? Are you okay with that? Okay. I love Spanish oils. The one I'm holding is a Spanish oil. I just love to have different oils in my house around, you know, just to taste. And then these are some fun things. So do you know what these are? I have a feeling you might. So this is called za'atar.
Za'atar?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want to smell them. These are actually both za'atar, but they're different za'atars. Depending on what store you go to, you'll find a different
more fragrant
za'atar.
than that one.
Exactly,
Yeah.
so we're going to use this one.
Yeah.
So this is dried thyme, sometimes has dried mint in it, and sesame, like a toasted sesame. And you'll find this a lot, like pita. Sometimes if you
Yes.
buy pita, it'll have some za'atar. The other thing is sumac. Sumac is something that actually grows wild. It's a wildflower and it's gorgeous.
Smells
And this also, very perfumed, goes on a lot of Middle Eastern dishes.
Okay.
I've been warming up a piece of pita for you.
Okay,
If you want
thank
to,
you.
as we do, just rip, careful it's warm, a piece of pita and taste the hummus. I think it's pretty good.
Wow.
It's good, right?
It's delicious.
It's creamy. One thing I really wanted to make on the show is limonata. Limonata is a mint lemonade that in Israel I saw a lot of. So I'm gonna make my own limonata today. This is my own favorite, just lemon juice. It's basically just squeezed lemons, a little bit of sugar, and water. That's
water, okay.
basically all it is. You're gonna put ice up to about 1.5, almost 2.
Okay.
And then you're gonna add as much mint as you feel like it. Because to be honest with you, you guys can kind of just do as you wish with the limonata, add as much or as little mint as you want to. If you want to throw some basil in it, it's also delicious.
What's next?
Yeah. Or you can buy some good lemonade, I suppose. I don't know. I've actually never bought lemonade. I've always
Never?
made it. You can stop.
It's so much better homemade.
It's so much better homemade. All right, so go for it. Have some fun. All right,
How much?
while she makes that lemonade, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to make something called tabbouleh. Tabbouleh is a delicious salad that goes with all kinds of things. And the traditional tabbouleh is made with bulgur, or as we say in the Middle East, bulgur. Bulgur is a cracked wheat. This is bulgur. And you can get them in different textures, different thicknesses. You cook with bulgur, right?
Yes, I like
Okay.
bulgur.
So this one is a bit fine, right?
see that, very
yeah,
fine, yeah.
which I love. So there's different ways of cooking bulgur. This one, lovely Amanda made by pouring 1-to-1 water to bulgur in a pot. It was hot boiling water, poured it over it, kept it on the stove with the burner off, and just basically steamed it and then used a fork to fluff it up. So the base of tabbouleh is bulgur. And it's actually more parsley than it is bulgur. So it's a huge amount of parsley traditionally goes into tabbouleh. Then I'm going to add a ton of parsley. So this is Italian, very finely chopped parsley. If you're a curly parsley lover, go for it. I have nothing against you. But it is a really large amount, really large amount of parsley. It should be very green. If you want to, which I love to add mint into this. So this is also finely chopped fresh mint. A lot of great mint. So you're noticing, I'm sure, that the flavors of Middle Eastern food are just fresh and delicious. All right, here's the fun stuff. I have little tiny diced cucumber without the peel. And I have peeled and finely diced tomato. If you want to do this with the peel to forego the 10 seconds of poaching and placing in ice water, you can do so. All right, next, olive oil, of course. And do you want to give me some zest of lemon? One lemon with the microplane would be great. The zest of one just gives it a lovely freshness, and really the scent of the lemon, there's nothing like it. It smells delicious, doesn't it?
Really good. Enough?
That's perfect. So always, yeah, smack that down. I'll get rid of that, but we're going to use that lemon because now it's the important part is the juice. So have you ever used a lemon juicer? So put that in there. Go ahead and press. Don't get your shirt dirty though, because you have such a pretty silk shirt on. All right, so I already have the oil. We've got the lemon zest. We're adding the lemons, and of course we need a good amount of salt. So go little and little, a little more and a little more. Because it has so much lemon in it, it's really gonna want some salt. So I'm gonna go with about a teaspoon of salt to start and see where we get. Okay. Thank you, my dear. You're a very good sous chef.
Thank you.
I like you, Anne Marie. I see
do
why
a lot
you're
of
a good
cooking.
volunteer.
I do
Do
a lot
you?
of cooking,
Nice.
yes. I haven't
I
made
think
tabbouleh
one
though.
more. You haven't made tabbouleh? Oh, good. Good. I hope you'll make this at home. I'm going to just mix this up a little bit more, and we'll taste it and see if we like it. And I'm going to add just a little bit of cracked black pepper. Let's go ahead and turn on our blender so we can show everybody our limonata. So the more you blend it, the greener it's going to be. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and pour it into our glass. All right, so those of you watching, I'm sorry I don't have a paper straw. We used what was around. So give it a taste. Tell me what you think. I love that stuff. I think it's just delicious.
Wow, it's really good.
It's refreshing,
wow,
right?
Very refreshing.
Delicious. So
Good for South Florida.
so far, look what beautiful dishes we have. I'm going to use this just as a pretty little beauty here. So we have our tabbouleh and our hummus. We're off to a gorgeous feast. So if you need any more information, by the way, about JA World, please go to jasouthflorida.org or call. You probably know this number by heart.
954-979-7100.
Awesome. So come right back, and we're going to do some falafel together. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste, and Happy New Year, everybody. So moving on with our Middle Eastern show, what Middle Eastern show would be complete without falafel? And I adore falafel, haven't made it in a couple years, had to revisit it, and I fell in love with it all over again. Pretty simple. You take some chickpeas and you soak them overnight. You can leave them on your counter. You do not have to put them in the fridge. In fact, I wouldn't, because they double up even better when they're out at room temperature. So you drain the chickpeas, but you really want to dry them even further. So you put them on paper towels or some kind of a cloth napkin like this. And when they're really nice and dry, you're ready to roll. What makes falafel great that I've noticed throughout the years is really the flavors that you give the falafel. You don't want a heavy falafel, and you don't want a tasteless falafel, obviously. So we're going to put all the chickpeas in a food processor, talking about flavors, as I did before. I'm going to flavor this one. As you know, falafels always kind of has that green tint to it. So it's got a lot of parsley, and this is finely chopped Italian parsley, just like I used in the tabbouleh salad. This is very finely chopped cilantro. Cilantro and parsley are very good friends. They meld beautifully together. And then finally chopped mint. A lot of fresh mint in this to give that refreshing flavor that all these dishes, if you've noticed, the one tie that brings them all together is the freshness. We're going to add a little bit of some fresh garlic, which you don't have to cut up too fine. I'll just slice it up a little bit. And finally, some scallions sliced up a little bit as well. The lighter green part, not the darker leafy end of them. We have some cumin, some coriander. Coriander is the seed of the cilantro plant. So we add both of those. And za'atar, a lovely friend that's over here that goes on top of a lot of the Middle Eastern dishes. We're going to add that to the falafel. And finally, salt. It's hard to salt the falafel later. You can, but you'll never get the taste of the seasoning if you don't salt the middle. So we're going to add some of that. All right, so let's top that off and run it. Now, you want to pulse. You don't want to keep running it, okay? Because you really want to work this little by little. You don't want to overrun it. And how do you know it's ready? Because it will really kind of gather up and hold a form in your hand. So let's take a look and see that it will definitely clump together in my hand as this is. So the longer this sits, the better it is. So I put this into a fridge and I cover it in paper towels like this one is. And you want it to sit for at least 20 minutes, but I actually let it go overnight. That's my favorite way of doing it. Check this out, how it is after it sits for a while. It really holds its shape beautifully. This is actually a very old school falafel mold, and that's how I'm going to mold it. You basically just press it down, put the falafel batter in it, and as it comes up, it gives you what we call in Spanish pastilla. It looks like a big pill, a nice flat disc. So that's how I'm going to form them, and I'll fry them. But I really wanted to show you a quick tahini because I can't imagine eating all these foods without the topping, which is tahini. So tahini is, like I said earlier, sesame paste. And this is how it comes. They come in jars, sometimes plastic, sometimes glass, and it's really thick stuff. So I've got some lemon juice. To me, the more lemon, the better in tahini. I'm going to throw 2 garlic cloves are all I really want in here. I don't like it to be too crazy garlicky. A little bit of water, I'm just going to add that in right now. I'll add my kosher salt in now because, again, another hard thing to add in later. Pour the tahini in. Always have a lot of rubber spatulas around when you're making Middle Eastern food to get your food processors and blenders to move and to keep them clean. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to make a nice smooth tahini. Come back. We'll start frying those falafels together and see how everything turns out. Welcome back to Soflo Taste. I'm cooking Middle Eastern today that's better than you can get in the streets of New York or Cairo, I hope. So, finishing off our falafel. I mean, these are absolutely stunning. Look how beautifully green they turned out. I'm actually pretty proud. I thought that they were going to get darker, but they're not. Let's go ahead and taste, make sure they're nice and moist. Wow. I get the mint, I get the cilantro, I get everything in. Oh, these are really good. So if you don't have one of these little falafel doohickeys, you can just use like a little scooper, a little spoon, just form it into any shape that you like. Just don't make it too big because it'll never get warm in the center. That's a really important part. And look how gorgeously creamy our tahini turned out. It kind of looks a little bit like our hummus. It's just beautiful. So what you do is you basically just heat up your favorite pita. And you can either make yourself a pita sandwich or a pita and falafel platter, which I'm going to do here. Put your falafel down like so. Serve your bread on the side. And there you have it, a beautiful Middle Eastern feast. Did I tempt you into trying some of these Middle Eastern recipes at home? Oh, I hope so. It's a great cuisine. And of course, all these recipes are available online at sofalotaste.com. Next week, I'm out to prove sandwiches aren't just for lunch anymore. I'll show you a sandwich board of great recipes to put between 2 slices of bread. So join me then. Now let's look in on Martin Amado. Good morning, Martin. What have you got on SoFlo Home Project today?
Hi, Michelle. You've heard of the expression, new year, new home, right? Well, coming up on SoFlo Home Project, I help a young couple reclaim their living room, which is basically used as a gigantic playroom filled with toys by their 2 small kids. So we are definitely giving this space a brand new look and function for 2019.
Thanks, Martin. Looks like you're off to New Year, New Room. So taste buds, that's this week's show. I hope you can sandwich me in next week for my sandwich show. Goodbye and good taste. Chick, please.